Hey y'all, whether it's morning, evening, or afternoon, I'm just glad that you guys had decided to vibe with E. Yes, the one and only E. Hey y'all, I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all are feeling good, feeling blessed, feeling everything of the source of good vibes and non negativity. And if you are, I'm hoping that you are able to recover from that and also find happiness because, like I say, bad times don't last forever. So, without further ado, if you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. And for the ones that are not new to this but true to this, hey y'all, what's up? What's poppin'? And without further ado, I want you guys to sit back, relax, and enjoy hearing my voice. Whether you on the go, I hope you got them AirPods, Beats, the speaker loud, whatever it is, so you can get comfortable and hear my voice. Today's vibe of the day is connections. But before I get into deep about connections, I am going to talk about human connections. So I guess you can say the vibe of the day is actually human connections, but it really is connections just based on humans. So let's get into it. So who is influenced individuals' social networks the most, and how do they shape individual connections? So before I get deep into that, it's like, how can one person be influenced by others when it comes to such as social network ties the most, and how does that impact with a person within human connections? So when it comes to close family members, friends, and significant others, are the most influenced members of a person's social network that impacts with sharing values and interest factors, introducing to new social circles, and providing emotional support. Often their influence determines how people interact socially, reforming existing ties and creating new ones. Once social activities and attitudes and behaviors can also be influenced significantly by their opposites and behaviors. So, for instance, a person friend may be more likely to engage with them to take a risk and try something new than their parents, who are already more likely to provide more traditional advice. So, with that being said, when it comes to human connections, when it comes to our family, I'm gonna break it down first, like I always do. When it comes to family and connections, I feel as though you have a deeper connection with the people that are your immediate family, such as the people that you live with. And within the urban household, it's typically the parents, your mom and dad, and your siblings. Or you may also have your grandparents, aunties, cousins, whoever. But within the urban community, I feel as though whoever is in your household, as well as your guardians as well, those are the ones that are able to help you within human connections, and they know more about you than the outside world. Yes, your best friends and everything like that at the source know about you, but I feel as though your immediate family within the urban community and household, they know more about you than the outside world because they see you every day and you're talking and connecting with each other in many multiple ways. For example, like my household, we connect with each other in many different ways. If it's cooking, cleaning, whatever little small task it is, we're connecting with each other in all different types of ways, and we're learning about each other each day. Because when you get older too, and everybody in your household gets older, you learn who they are, and you learn what they like, what they don't like, what they do like, what's going on with them, what's good and bad. All connections are intertwined with them. And when it comes to forming those connections with your family, it's a good human connection because it also helps you prepare to connect with people on the outside of the world, such as within having friendships. So with friendships also, they say at times, most of the time, people start those friendships when they're little. But I feel as though with little kids, it's easy to start friendships because, playing with toys, playground, whatever the case may be, that's easy. However, when you get older, like an adolescent, young adults and things like that, at times it is very hard to connect and have a human connection with others, because at times when you get older, and say like if you are from different aspects of the city or the world, wherever the case may be, it's hard to have a human connection with them because everybody has their own type of wave. I'm not going to say way because I'm going to say wave because waves are up and down and go up and down and all that. So at times it is hard to connect with people on a deeper level, especially when it comes to human connections. But when you do have that human connection with people, when you start to get older, you start to find what makes you who you are and how you connect with others and things like that. It will impact on what type of friends you'll have. That'll also impact on how long will that human connection will last. Such as, like I mentioned, with best friends. Like at times we do go through the phases where we have, childhood best friends from middle school, high school, college, whatever the case may be. Those are cycles in our life that impacts with the human connections that we have with others, and we categorize them in our lives as this because of the connection that we had. So say if you met at work, the human connection that y'all have with each other will be work best friends or work friends. Such as with school, you have your school best friends and stuff like that. But some of them are able to make it out of those categories and they'll just have a whole human connection with you as a whole. Such as some of the people that you do meet within personal and professional levels, those can be the humans with those human connections that you have made within that setting can help you further in life as well as for them, because you're helping each other as you go. Like the example I did, such as if you want to take the risk on doing something, your friends are there to more likely to encourage you, like, okay, cool, do it, do what you got to do. At times your family may or may not, because they're going to give you the traditional advice like, hey, you're going to do this, are you sure? And it also depends on what you're taking the risk on. Sometimes it'd be silly. It's like, do you really want to do that? And then it's like, hey, you live and you learn. So when it comes to human connections, it's really broad on how can that impact you as also impacting the person that you are with or having the connection with. And I always say that in order for a person to have a connection with someone, they have to spark up a conversation. By having a conversation with somebody, that can automatically turn into a lifetime friendship or connection or deeper relationship with your family members and with a person like as a spouse as well. When it comes to having a deep connection with your family, everybody, and it is true, it's key to have that. But sometimes water is, how they say, blood is thicker than water, but sometimes you need the water. And yes, at times it is crazy to say that you don't have human connections with your family members, maybe outside of your household. But if you have people that is around your immediate family or around your family that are not your blood relatives, but you have a deeper human connection with them, that is good too, because that's considered kinfolks. So whatever type of connection that you have with your family, blood or not, those connections are very, very crucial and very, very important in a person's life, because that's where it starts off. For a person to develop the type of human connections, be able to speak to people, talk to people, just doing things involving interacting with people, it starts at home or it starts wherever you are with a family, guardians, biological, not biological, kinfolks, whatever it is. Just building those human connections as a whole with however you were raised, that impacts on how you will relate to the outside world, such as developing them friendships for a lifetime or not. Also, when it comes to human connections, at times with people, even in your family and outside of your family, such as your friends or spouse, I believe in the saying, that person is here. Sometimes people are here for a season, and then you have people that are there for a reason. And with those connections, when a person is there for a reason, they're there for a lifetime. And when they're there for a season, it means they're only there for the moment. And y'all connection can be amazing, but it always takes something or someone to just snap and make that human connection disappear. So it's okay to go through those trials and tribulations with your family, your friends, and a spouse, but you have to be able to understand your connection as humans may or may not be the same no more, and that's okay. But you always want to make sure you don't leave on a bad note. As well as lastly, when it comes to a spouse impacting on a human connection, relationship, whatever, with you or whoever it may be, when it comes to relationships, either guy and guy, girl and girl, or girl and guy, whatever the case may be, no judgment zone here. You also have to be careful too when it comes to the connection, the human connection that you guys bring, especially when it comes to soul ties. Because I feel as though when it comes to human connection, the soul is impacted with it the most, very impacted, especially when you are into somebody so much. See, it's different from your family and friends connection, because when it's soul ties connected within a significant person that you want them to potentially be in your life, to be your husband, your wife, or whatever the case may be, that soul connection is very deep and is broad, because you have to make sure that they're able to feel the way you feel and you feel the way they feel. You have to be prepared for what's to come. You have to be prepared for you putting yourself out there, you having this connection with them, you feel this way, and you want them to understand you for you as well. And the thing about it, I feel as though today a lot of people are not connected with the soul a lot. A lot of people are not connecting with each other on a mental level. It's always physical. And that drives a person insane. Because when it comes to human connections, I feel as though it is verbal and nonverbal, but you have to start verbally first to understand a person and to get to know them before you can do any and everything with them that you desire to do. So you have to really learn this person real well. And there are times when you do learn a person and y'all connection start off good, yes, it's okay to not continue that connection on, but it's also good, like I mentioned, to always, let it not be on a bad note, because that can also put a stain on your connection to even wanting to be willing to talk to someone else, or even trying to go back out there. Yes, it's going to take time. We go through rejection and things like that, go through bad breakups and stuff. But as I mentioned all the time, bad times don't last forever. This is just a period in your life that God, or whoever you believe in, is telling you right now, you need to focus on you and whatever's going on. Yes, your time is going to come again, but right now I need you to focus on you. So even if you do or do not have a, significant other, or you are willing to have a significant other, keep in mind that soul connection is very important, in that in order for you to connect with a person, you have to connect with them verbally before it's nonverbal. So next, overall, is what does the term human connections mean? So human connections refers to the bond formed between individuals through sharing experiences, emotional and mutual understanding. A sense of belonging, trust, and empathy are fostered through the verbal and nonverbal communications. Human connections provide support, companionship, and a sense of community, which are essential to emotional well-being and personal growth. Human relationships can be cultured in various settings, from personal to professional. For instance, in the workplace, building a strong human connection can help create a more positive and productive environment, which can lead to a higher job satisfaction and better performance. As I mentioned when I broke it down, when it comes to family, friends, and spouse, it starts with having that certain connection, especially when it comes to mentally, physically, mutual understanding and experience with each other. Like I said, you have to, in order for you to start a bond off very good, it has to be verbal. Sometimes to start off non-verbal, just passing something to somebody, or a nod, a smile, or something like that. But I feel as though it gets more in deep if you start off with non-verbal. Okay, cool, you got me. But once you start communicating with me and talking to me, it makes it more like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling a human connection with you. Yes, at times you're not going to feel a human connection right away, because at times it does take time for you to connect with a person. And that's okay too. It's okay not to feel any type of connection with somebody. Trust me, we all been there, done that. We thought in the beginning we didn't have any type of connection with them, and then y'all turn out to be the best of friends. Take it from me. Like me and my best friend, we'd be like, I didn't know we were going to be friends. Because, sometimes the human connection is not there. But then once you meet the person, you sit and talk to them and stuff, it's like, wow, I kind of like you. I don't have no bad blood against you. So when it comes to connections, I always feel as though it gets more of a deep when it is with verbal, even though at times it might not be verbal. Either way it go, long as y'all develop some type of connection and you feel like, okay, I kind of like this, okay, whoa, like it all depends. So take it from here, take it from me. So what are the key factors that strengthens or weakens human connections in an individual's community? So with this being said, it's like, how can human connections be good or bad? Like, how can it help somebody for the better, and how can it help them for worse? And we are, like I mentioned, at times it could start off good, and at times it could go bad, or it could start off bad and it end up being good. It all depends on the time frame too, and how you and that person connects on a mental, physical level, verbal, and nonverbal level. So in a community, human connections are strengthened by effective community, mutual respect, shared values, and meaningful engagements. A supportive environment and active participation in community activities are also crucial. However, poor communication, misunderstanding, distrust, and social isolation are all factors that weakens connections. A lack of community engagement, and cultural differences can further affect these bonds. For example, in a community with a diverse immigration population, language and culture barriers can make it difficult for residents to interact with each other on a social level. Now, I will say this, as a person that has gone to public schools all her life, I have met people that are outside of the urban community and that are inside the urban community, but from different aspects of urban community, such as where I'm from. If you don't know, I'm from Baltimore. I'm from Baltimore City. It's parts in the city that are good, bad, and then you have Baltimore County that's outside of the city. It's good and bad also. So I met people that are in my urban community that are, that experience the good, that experienced the bad, has dealt with people that are in the good, in the bad. So it's like, it's not just, at times it is good to develop, and sometimes it's not good when people make developments, because also too, like, if you come from different backgrounds, like for instance, like I mentioned, I've been in public schools all my life, even up to college, been in the public community aspect when it comes to education. At times I did experience having weak human connections with classmates, because you don't know each other, or sometimes it'd be a lot, it's a lot to adapt to, it's a lot to understand, and at times it's like, how can you adapt to it? How will I be able to adapt, if that makes sense? And I'm not even ready to lie to you. At times, the weak human communication skills that you develop, even on a job or a person or mutual friends or whatever the case may be, turns out to be strong. And then you have the opposite. It might turn out strong and it might turn out weak for a moment, or it might get back on track. So it also depends on where you are and how do you come across a person too. That's the number one thing. First impressions are key. So say like what I mentioned with an example, like, say if a person that's not from your community, or like, does not look like they are a part of your community, comes into your community, you always have to display being nice to people. Kindness does not hurt nobody. Being kind does not hurt. It doesn't hurt. But being mean does. And people fail to realize, like, they say kindness and weakness. Like, people take advantage of people's kindness for weakness. They do. But when it comes to meeting a person and being nice, being friendly, especially not from here, that'll help them. Sometimes on the other side, if they're not from here and they meet you, sometimes they can be arrogant, and it's okay. But I'm telling you, once you be yourself and don't have to do the most, it takes time for the person to come to you. Either verbal communication or non-verbal communication. The key is, I always say to myself too, don't change for nobody. Because, people are entitled to like you, or people are entitled not to like you. You are entitled to have strength. You are entitled to have your strength and weaknesses. And you are entitled to have the good and bad relationships with people, even if in your family, your friends, or within a spouse. So it takes time. It's okay. And like I mentioned too, even within people come into your life for a season, some things are for you. Is either your season or it's here for a reason. Such as for me, for school, I feel as though it's a reason why I'm there. My reason is still continuing. sometimes the season when it comes to people I'm dealing with, they're here for a moment. They might pop up again, but then you'll see how it goes. So it's balance and it's levels to everything that we do in life, especially when it comes to having human connections with others. It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. Because, at times, when you have people, even within the professional environment, no matter if you're working a 9 to 5, working your career, anything, you go through it every day. Because you see these people every day. And it's like, you want to make sure you connect, you want to make sure you build on these human connections, because you don't want conflict at a job, because if you bust your butt, went to school for it, or you need this for right now, and you were desired and you pray to manifest on it, you got to take it. But sometimes enough is enough. Okay, at times, all money's not good money, and your peace and your mental matters the most, especially if you and that person are having a lot of conflict and nobody's not trying to fix it. Yeah, it's time for you to relocate, or it's time for them to do what they gotta do. But the key factors when it comes to the strengths and weakness of a human connection, you gotta be able to know how to come off and what not to come off with. Okay? So when is the best time to engage in activities that fosters deep relationships with people? When you share time with others, such as weekends, holidays, or community events, or like your traditional days you have, like with your friends, like, okay, every Saturday or every weekend or whatever, we do this, things like that, you're more likely to engage in activities that fosters deeper relationships, such as when it comes to conversations and connections, are factoring by relaxing interactions during, and letting yourself go with these interactions during the time, letting your hair down. Traditional life phrases such as starting a new job, moving to a new area, or experiencing a significant life event, provides excitement opportunities for bonds over sharing experiences. The maintaining and deepening of these relationships can be achieved by just regular interactions, social engagements, such as, for example, arranging regular lunching or dinner dates with your family, close friends, family members, or colleagues can help build relationships and create a meaningful relationship, connection, or relationship. Well, in this case, it's connections. So when is the best time to do it? I feel as though, like I mentioned, if you're very, very, very family soul tie like me, you want to spend time with your family every chance that you can get, because family is all you got if you don't have your friends. That also includes kinfolks. Even though they're not your blood relative, they're still there. They're there for you regardless, through any and everything. I try my hardest to spend time with my close friends and family members as much as I can, because they've been there for me. I express everything with them, the littlest things to them. It don't even matter how big or small it is. I'd rather hear their dreams and aspirations, their accomplishments and things like that, because that makes the connection even more brighter. And that's another thing too. When you tell people your goals, aspirations, and things in your life, you got to be careful on how they react. You got to read the room. You got to read them good too. If their vibes is not connecting to your excitement, they're not your real friends. Or your family, they just don't care about you. We all been there, done that, when we have experienced a time in our life where we have finally reached something or finally got what we wanted, prayed and manifest for. And it's always that one or a few amount of people that will try to make it about them when it's not about them. Even when you have an event that's about you and they still try to make it about them. Think about it. We all been through it. We all been through it. And it's at times, like I said, when it comes to human connections in this day and age, it's hard to connect with people, because it's hard to realize who's real and who's not. It's really hard, because a lot of people don't have a lot of human, have not got back human connections. Since the pandemic, a lot of people be like, I don't even know how to connect with people on a in-person level. When it came to virtual, yeah, like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that, they're able to connect with them, no problem, because you can't see them. But when you're outside of the social media world and you're in the real world where you can see, touch, feel, it's hard for people to even connect with people on a mental and physical level, because some of them still have not adapted to the fact that the pandemic was not going to last forever. You was going to have to come back outside. You was going to have to come back to doing what you did, but in a new norm. You know, you can't go back to normal. You got to find your new norm. So if you was used to, you know, waking up at this time, now you got to wake up at this time and stuff like that, whatever. It's a new norm. But besides that, still to this day, a lot of people's skills is not there. It's not there. And I understand why it's not there is because either one, the pandemic, two, where you came from, how you grew up, or three, you just not a people's person. And that's okay. But I feel as though also when you're working at any type of job or doing anything, you're surrounded by people 24/7. Even if people get on your last nerve, you still have to find a way to even connect with them, even if it's just on a professional level. You don't have to be besties. That's another thing too. When you at school and you're working, it's not required for you to be friends and socialize with everybody. It's required for you to get along with each other. Yes, it is. But it's not required for you to be their friend in and outside of work. Because like I mentioned, most of the time, most of those friendships you will have in school or work, and they get real good to outside work, you know, for them to be a part of your outside world, that's a good human connection. But if you get a connection where, I wouldn't want to be out in public with them, besides being here at school or work, whatever the case may be, I'm going to keep you here. It's levels to it, especially when it comes to human connection. It's like, hey, I got this friend right here. Me and her connect on this level. I could go out with her and I wouldn't have a problem. Same thing with a guy. Hey, me and him real good on a human connection when we working on school. I wouldn't mind going out with him. However, it's always a flip side. Hey, it's this one guy, I'd rather stay nothing but work related with him because I couldn't go outside with him because he's a little crazy. Same thing with a female. You know, it's traits and it's levels to it, especially when it comes to human connections. Everybody cannot connect with you on different aspects, and everybody cannot be a part of your life, even if it's in the inside or the outside world, but mainly the outside. Because, you know, on the inside, we working, we going to school, whatever we're doing on a professional level. On a personal level, certain people you cannot let into your personal life because the connection will or will not be there. And then if you are trying to foster a deep relationship with them and it's not working, just cut it off. That's why you have to remember who's there for you and who's not there for you. And the ones that are there for you, say if you got a promotion and to be a supervisor or to be assistant manager, if you know the people that you're very close with, they support it, they're here for you, those are the ones that you consider, and to keep it in mind that you don't have no problem sharing things with them. Also, on the flip side, when it comes to them, they tell you, hey, I bought my dream car, I bought my dream house, whatever the case may be. The vibe stays the same. The connection should stay the same. Versus if you bring somebody in your life that don't really have the same aspects up at you, the connection is going to be off. And I call them people braggadocious. You don't want a braggadocious person in your life. And you don't want to be a braggadocious person in your life. Because that can also rub off a human connection with a person. That can lead a person to stay away from you. Because if all you do is brag, that can turn a person off real quick. I've been there and done that. I don't like that. And when it comes to human connections, you have to meet the person 50-50. It can't be 75% and 25%. You have to meet that person here, together, in the middle. I'm here, you here. As well as family, friends, whatever you have close relationships with, close connections with, have to meet you halfway. Okay? So let's keep that in mind. So where do individuals find the most meaningful interactions, and how does the environment contribute to these connections? So with that being said, like, how does a person find these mindful interactions with somebody, and how does the environment impacts with these human connections? So individuals often find the most meaningful interactions in an environment that promotes openness, comfort, and shared experiences, such as homes, community centers, and social gatherings. Also within professionals such as school, work-wise as well. These settings factors genuine conversations and activities that strengthens bonds. Supportive environments characterized by trust, safety, and inclusive, encouraging people to express themselves freely and connect on a deeper level. As also, additionally, natural settings like parks or quiet cafes can provide a relaxing atmosphere to conduct meaningful interaction. So with that said, most people, you can bump into somebody, and like I mentioned, you could be a verbal, non-verbal connection, and from that moment, it's like, oh wow. Such as like in the movies when they say, love at first sight. Sometimes it's true and sometimes it's not. Or like, it could be the opposite. Like, oh, you bump into them and then they come back in your life further down the line and y'all create a more developing relationship. The connection evolves. As well as when it comes to the environment, you also have to have, for human connection to develop, you have to trust that person. Trust is number one. You can't just put your trust on the line for nobody. Even though at times we learn the hard way, you be like, dang, I trusted you. I felt this with you, da 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 da. It's okay. At times you gotta learn the hard way, and that's okay. That's all right, because we live and we learn. You live and you learn. It's okay. Even with your family and friends, it's okay. We live and we learn. It is what it is, and we bounce back. Even though it's gonna take time, bad times don't last forever. 2, safety is very important. You don't want to hang with somebody and you tell them, hey, I don't feel right about this. My gut is telling me don't do it. We can't do it. Or the time and the place of where it's at. Listen to that voice in your head. Or as some people say, that third eye, whatever intuition you had, listen to it. And if that person tries to peer pressure you, they're not your friend. They don't care about you. They don't care about your safety. Because 1, you trust to be with them, and 2, if you tell them, hey, I don't think we should go to this party, I don't think we should go here at this time of night because it's real iffy and people are crazy, and they be like, no, it's cool. No, stick with your intuition. Stick with that voice in your head. Do not do anything that you feel as though it's not right. And if you continue, that's peer pressure. I tell myself all the time, if me and you are friends and you pressure me into doing something I don't want to do, we're not friends. And that connection we have now is gone because I feel like you want to put me in danger. And that's where setups come in. Nope. And it's vice versa. If my friend tell me she don't want to be here, or he don't want to be here, or my sister or brother, my mother or father say it's not safe and I don't feel comfortable, we're gone. Because at the end of the day, it's always other places to go, or it's always something else to do the next day. So you got to be mindful too. People are getting into these relationships and friendships with people because it's built on trust, safety, and being able to express themselves freely. Being able to have that freedom of speech. And if you don't like the things that I say, then our connection is done. As well as when it comes to being open to a person and being comfortable. Because like me, a lot of people be like, you don't show a lot of emotion. I do. It's the Cancer in me. But when I first meet somebody, yes, my mug might be broke down. If I feel as though the vibe ain't there, I'm going to break my mug down. And if you say something or we have a conversation, yeah, I'm going to crack a smile because that's how I feel. But I always have to read the room and read a person before I feel comfortable with you. Because you can't feel comfort with a person if you just met them at times. Sometimes you be like, I don't trust it. And it's okay because it's impacting human connection. If your soul, mind, and body don't feel connected and comfortable with this person on a human connection level, it's okay. It's all right, because right now it might not be for you, or it might not be for you at all. It's okay, and it happens. So for individuals, it can start at natural settings, out of nowhere, the mall and stuff. It happens. People really find love in the craziest places, people will say, or like places you wouldn't really think people would find it at, but they do. Or the normal places, such as like, the bookstore, library, whatever the case may be. It happens. Or like with your family, y'all connect better in the park, or like out in nature and things like that. It's okay. It happens. So don't feel no type of way. But you also have to remember, trust, safety, freedom of speech, openness, comfort, and being able to share experiences are impacted with human connections. If that person is not impacted with all those factors, gotta go. Okay? Lastly, why do some human connections last a lifetime while others fade over time, and what can be done to maintain a long-lasting relationship? So as I mentioned, like I said, some people are here for a reason and some are here for a season. You could tell by the way they move, they walk, they talk, and how your relationship is. At times, it is true, you could be very close friends. At times, y'all don't talk to each other for a long period of time. It's okay. But you can have people that you be cool with, and they do the most and be like, dang, you ain't want to talk to me today. Or such as within relationship or starting to build a relationship with someone, a girl, a boy, whatever the case may be. Sometimes you got to let people know you're human. You have things going on, or you don't want to be bothered. It's not out of disrespect, but right now I just don't want to be bothered. And people think, oh, just because we're friends or we're dating or potentially wanting to date each other, I have to hear from you 24/7. At one point in time in my life, when it came to dating, I thought of that. I did. I was like, okay, I need to hear from this person 24/7. Then I realized when I got older, when I started to date, is things happen. Life is lifing. You can't hear from that person every given second, minute, and hour of the day. Long as they're communicating and telling you what's going on, that's all that matters. And that will impact with you having a long-lasting relationship, human connection with a person. Versus not having is when you keep getting on a person and telling them, oh, I need to talk to you 24/7, I need to hear from you. That's controlling, and that's abuse. And people just don't know. That's harassment. That's a sign of abuse. That's harassing. You can't do that. People have lives as well. Even though, yes, y'all have related to each other on a human connection. I get it. But you have to realize they have a life too. They have things going on too. They can't sit on the phone with you 24/7 while they handling their business or taking care of something or in class or with their family. They can't do it. And yes, it's people out here that are like that. And it's crazy and it's sickening. It's sickening. And it's not cool. So you gotta be careful for that too. Peep them red flags. Like my mom, she be watching Lifetime movies, and I see it. It'd be the littlest things that we don't catch on to. It'd be like, oh, they text your phone constantly. It's like, oh, you think, oh, they care about me. No, they're harassing you. Because if you tell them, hey, I'm going out, I'll talk to you later. They should not be called. They should not be calling you while you out with your friends. They should be giving you your respect as well as you give them their respect. Versus, say if you are not going out with your long-term friend and you tell him or her, hey, I'm going to call you later, I'm talk to you later, I'm going out with such and such, going out with this family member, or the case may be, whatever the case may be. They be like, all right, cool, I'm here, text me, if you take pictures, send them to me. That's it. They're not going to harass you the whole time, because you can tell the difference on how the relationship and the connection is. So keep that in mind also. So with that being said, like, why do some human connections last a lifetime while others fade over time? And what can be done to maintain those relationships, the lasting relationships? First is a home, a community center, or a social gathering often foster the meaningful interactions between individuals. Having genuine conversations and activities are factored in these settings. People are more likely to express themselves freely and connect on a deeper level in supportive environments, which can categorized by trust, safety, and inclusion. For example, the relaxing environment of a park or cafe can also make meaningful interactions possible. Like I mentioned, when it came to where do individuals find the most meaningful interactions, you'd be surprised of where you can find them. And just starting those connections with not in the public eye. Just be very mindful of the relationships that you make with people, even if it started at home, like when you're younger, the neighborhood kids. That's how I still have childhood friends. Communities such as centers, you have your school, work environments, or whatever the case may be. Social gatherings such as parties, fundraisers, things like that. You can easily at times find your best friend for life right there. It's that simple. Either having a verbal or nonverbal connection with them, with the first impression, even if it rubbed them the wrong way or not. Even in the settings like, party settings, the club and stuff like that. It all depends on where you at and how they put an impact on you. Even if it's nonverbal or verbal. Just being you, period, can impact somebody for the better. So you got to keep that in mind also when it comes to having those human connections that last for a lifetime. Like I mentioned, like me and my best friend, at first I thought she didn't like me and she thought I didn't like her. And so we had talked and seen each other every day because we were in the program together over the summer. We literally watched each other go into high school, and we're watching each other graduate out of college. See how the connection go? See how human connections are impacted just by basically having a non-verbal connection or connection with a person can change for the better. I'm telling you, you might can even find your husband, your wife, your bestie, your auntie, your cousin. Just communicate, y'all, verbally or verbally. Just go for it so you can have those relationships. So you don't have to be like scared. Risk it. Making friends and having new connections with people, it can impact your life for the better. Those people can impact your life for the better, or they gonna impact it for the worse. But if it comes for the worse, it's okay, because you're gonna be able to learn how to not let a person like that come in your life ever again. So just to summarize everything, human connections is the formation of a significant relationship between people based on shared experiences, emotions, and understanding. It is crucial for emotional health, offering support, companionship, and a feeling of belonging. Effective communication, sharing values, and regular interactions help build strong connections, while issues like poor communications and isolation can harm them. Sustaining these bonds involves ongoing effects, respects, and flexibility in the face of life's changes. So, like I've been doing for the last couple of episodes, I have questions for y'all to think about. After you have finished listening to me and things like that, I want you to ask yourself, one, what does human connections mean to you, and how do you captivate on meaningful and nurturing relationships? And two, can you think of a memorable experience where a deep human connection possibly impact your life, and how did it shape your perseverance on relationships, such as with your family, your friends, your spouse, whatever? Think about it. And as always, I hope you guys have learned a thing or two from this Bible today based on human connections. As I always mention, if you're new here, if my podcast don't help a lot of people, long as it helps somebody, I hope you guys have enjoyed this Bible today. I hope you all have an amazing day. I hope you all also, like I said, take a few things, learn a few things from me, and also impact it with your next, lifetime experience with people. Even further help your experience with people within your family, your friends, your guardians, kin folks, significant others, people you work with, whatever the case may be. Don't be afraid to start those human connections, even if it's verbal or non-verbal. Remember, the key is to be yourself. Don't change for nobody, and they don't accept you for you, then hey, that's their loss. Okay? So as always, I wish you guys nothing but the best. Peace and blessings to you all. Please be safe out here. It is Gemini season. I heard, at the Gemini season, it's Cancer season. So, and summertime is right around the corner too. So I wish y'all nothing but the best. Please be safe out here. Enjoy this amazing weather. And as always, be cautious and be careful on everything you do. I love you all. And you guys will hear from me next Wednesday. Bye.